Welcome to another episode of Archives and Anchovies, the podcast about whatever it is I feel like talking about that week. This week was a fun week for me, as I always start out saying my weeks are fun, but it really was. Had a gig in South Carolina, Myrtle Beach to be exact. Great crowd. It was just fantastic. And one of the things that I really loved about this venue is behind us, they have all of these screens that show all of these videos and things that are happening in the background. We generally don't get to pick anything like that. They just kind of do it, and whatever the house decides to play, they play. And so while I was flying back, I was thinking about the images that were on there. Some people had come up and talked to me about what was there. And I thought of how video transformed music and how MTV came to be. So I'm your host, James Coulon, and today we're going to dive into one of the most seismic shifts, I think, in popular culture, the launch of MTV and how it fundamentally changed not just music, but the entire music industry. On August 1st, 1981, at 12:01 a.m., a simple message appeared on television screens. Ladies and gentlemen, rock and roll. Those words, spoken by John Lack, launched music television, MTV, and nothing would ever be the same. The very first video that played on MTV, it was pretty iconic. Video Killed the Radio Star by the Buggles, and it turned out to be very prophetic. MTV, however, didn't just kill radio, it revolutionized how everyone experienced music entirely. Before MTV, music was primarily an audio experience. Sure, you might see your favorite band on a variety show or catch a concert special, but music lived in your ears primarily, not in your eyes. MTV completely flipped that script. Suddenly, a song wasn't complete without a visual narrative, without fashion, without choreography, and without a story. MTV created a new criterion for success. You had to look good. This wasn't entirely new. Elvis, Beatles, a lot of other bands certainly understood the power of image, but MTV really made it a non-negotiable. Artists who thrived in the MTV era understood that they were creating a complex experience for people, and it had to be very sensory. Madonna is perhaps the ultimate MTV creation. She was extremely talented, no doubt at all, but her genius was understanding that MTV was a platform for reinvention, for spectacle, and for controversy. In fact, every album era came with a new look, a new persona, new iconic imagery. Like a Virgin, Material Girl, Vogue, these weren't just songs, they were visual events. Michael Jackson, he even took it further. Thriller, we all know the iconic video Thriller. It just wasn't a music video. It was a 14-minute short film that premiered like a movie event. It had a narrative, special effects, choreography, and a budget that was unheard of at the time. John Landis, a film director, not just a video director, helmed it. Jackson understood that MTV could elevate the music video to an art form, and he invested accordingly. MTV developed its own visual language, quick cuts, bright colors, surreal imagery, narrative storytelling mixed with performance footage. Directors like David Fincher, Spike Jonze, and Michael Gondry cut their teeth making music videos, and they brought a cinematic quality that influenced not just music, but movies and advertising as well. The channel also pioneered specific styles of programming. VJs, or video jockeys, became celebrities in their own right. Martha Quinn, Mark Goodman, Nina Blackwood, Alan Hunter, J.J. Jackson. These weren't just people introducing videos. They were your cool older siblings bringing you into this new world of music television, and they were watched a lot, quoted a lot, and talked about a lot. MTV also played a complicated but ultimately important role in breaking down racial barriers in music. Initially, the channel was heavily criticized for not playing Black artists. The format was supported and supposedly rock, but that was often a convenient excuse for exclusion. Michael Jackson, he came out with Billie Jean, and it's often credited as the video that broke MTV's color barrier, although the reality is more complex. David Bowie, He himself confronted MTV about its lack of diversity in a famous 1983 interview. Prince, with his genre blending sound and striking visual presence, also forced MTV to reconsider its narrow programming. By the mid 80s, MTV had become much more diverse, and it helped launch the careers of numerous Black artists, from Run DMC to Whitney Houston to Public Enemy. Hip hop, in particular, found a powerful platform through shows like Yo MTV Raps, which premiered in 1988 and brought hip hop culture to mainstream American homes. MTV didn't just change American music either, it became a global phenomenon. MTV Europe launched in 1987, followed by MTV Asia, MTV Latin America, and eventually localized versions around the world. American pop culture, transmitted through MTV's 24-hour music video feed, reached corners of the world that had never experienced anything like that with such intensity. But it also worked in reverse. MTV helped launch artists from other countries into American consciousness. It created a more globalized pop marketplace. By the late 1980s and early 1990s, MTV had become somewhat predictable, dominated by glossy pop, hair metal, which was huge, and formulaic videos. But then came 120 Minutes, a late night show dedicated to alternative music, and eventually Headbangers Ball for metal. When Nirvana's Smells Like Teen Spirit hit MTV in heavy rotation in 1991, it marked another revolution. Suddenly, the polished aesthetics of the 80s completely felt dead. Grunge brought a raw, anti-commercial ethos, and ironically, MTV, the ultimate commercial platform, helped spread that rebellion. Kurt Cobain's complicated relationship with MTV fame exemplified a new tension. Artists who wanted authenticity but couldn't escape the image-making machine that MTV represented. In 1984, MTV made another brilliant move. They created their own award show, the MTV Video Music Awards. It premiered on September 14th, 1984, at the illustrious Radio City Music Hall in New York City, and it was unlike any other award show that had come before it. Traditional music awards shows like the Grammys were pretty formal, industry-focused affairs, but the Video Music Awards were designed for television, for spectacle, for moments that would become part of pop culture history, and boy, did they deliver. The very first show in 1984 featured Madonna writhing on stage in a wedding dress, performing like a virgin, rolling around and losing her shoe, a moment that shocked audiences and cemented her reputation as a provocateur. This became the VMA's calling card, the unexpected. Over the years, the VMAs gave us unforgettable moments. Michael Jackson and Lisa Marie Presley's Awkward Kiss in 1984, Britney Spears and the Python in 2001, Madonna, Britney, and Christina's Kiss in 2003, West interrupting Taylor Swift in 2009, Miley Cyrus and the Foam Finger in 2013, Beyonce announcing her pregnancy in 2011, dropping the mic and revealing her baby bump. The VMAs understood something crucial. In the MTV era, the performance and the moment mattered as much as the award itself. Artists used the VMAs to make statements, to reinvent themselves, and to create controversy. It was appointment television before we even used the term. The awards themselves reflected MTV's values. Moon Man trophies were given for categories like Best Video, Best Direction, Best Choreography, and Best Special Effects. These weren't just about the song, they were about the entire visual package. MTV's approach influenced how other music award shows evolved. The Billboard Music Awards, American Music Awards, and even the Grammys began incorporating more elaborate performances and televised spectacle. Music awards became less about the industry congratulating itself and more about creating viral moments and entertaining massive audiences. The televisation of these award shows created a new kind of music marketing. An artist performance at the VMAs or Grammys could relaunch their career, debut a new era, or become more famous than the actual song. Lady Gaga, for instance, her meat dress at the 2010 VMAs generated weeks of coverage. It wasn't just about winning anymore. It was about the performance, the fashion, and any statements. Ironically, MTV's evolution away from the music videos might have been inevitable. The real world which premiered in 1992, pioneered reality television and proved that MTV could be about more than music. Shows like TRL, Total Request Live, had music in the mix, but wrapped it in celebrity culture and teen fandom. By the 2000s, MTV was playing fewer and fewer music videos, instead focusing on reality shows like Cribs, Punk'd, and Jersey Shore. The music had moved elsewhere, primarily to the internet, to YouTube, and to streaming platforms where you could watch any video you wanted anytime. Yet the VMAs survived and thrived precisely because they understood the value of live televised spectacle. You can watch a music video anytime, but you can't predict what will happen at a live award show. That unpredictability kept people watching. But here's the thing, even though MTV no longer plays music videos 24/7, its impact is permanent. The music video is now an essential part of any major release. Artists still invest heavily in visuals. Beyonce's Lemonade, Childish Gambino's This Is America, Billie Eilish's cinematic visuals, these all exist because MTV established the music video as an art form. MTV proved that music can be a multimedia experience. It created the template for music marketing that we still use today. And it also showed that youth culture was a powerful economic force. It gave us the language of visual storytelling in music that we now take for granted. MTV changed music forever by making it visual, by making image as important as sound, by creating global pop stars who understood that they were selling complete packages. It launched careers, ended others, broke down some barriers while creating new ones, and ultimately transformed not just music, but all of entertainment. So the next time you watch a music video, whether it's on YouTube, Vivo, or wherever, remember, none of it would have existed in the same way without that moment in August 1981 when MTV declared that rock and roll was now going to be something you watched, not just something you heard. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Archives and Anchovies, the podcast about whatever it is I want to talk about. I'm your host, James Coulon, and as always, have a wonderful day, an amazing evening, and a great week ahead. Thanks again.